You know, with the show coming to an end on October 12th, one of the big questions fans have always had about the show is its future with IDW Comics. Now, the people at IDW have confirmed that the comic books for Friendship is Magic will still continue. I mean, we're getting freaking mangas all the way into next year as well, so that's a good sign that Friendship is Magic is still a hot item. But when it comes to the comics, the question anybody has is what kind of stories will we get out of them? Now, I did an audio video yesterday where I talked about the ideas, the potential of directions that the show, or not the show, but the comic could go in with the stories, especially if it plays itself as a extension in continuity of season 9. And, you know, where they can go from there. But there's one thing about the comics that a lot of people will agree upon. That the comics can be a little bit more complex, a little bit darker, and a little bit more mature than, let's say, the show would allow the characters to be in the series, or in the animated series itself. So, with that said, one question that anybody has is, will the comic book actually tackle the romance portion of the series when it comes to the main characters? In other words, the main 7/8, if you will. Will they do that? Will they tackle romance when it comes to the main 7/8, unlike the series? I mean, the series has hinted at romance for some of these characters, but it's more along the lines of, will the comic finally do what the series couldn't? And that's kind of confirm that there's something between certain characters in the group, or between a certain character in the group and another character that might be an ally or a friend or whatever. And I believe that the comic will indeed do that. I mean, let's be honest. If you look at some of the more prolific story arcs from the comic book, you have Celestia admitting that she loves the good version of King Samba doing that Mirror World arc that they did. You have the final panel of the Nightmare Rarity arc. Like I was saying, you have the final panel of the Nightmare Rarity arc with Rarity holding Spike close to her and there's a little heart emoji above them while they're sitting on the hill along with the other main 7 cast. So, with that said, the question is raised, will they actually explore romance more than the show did? And I think honestly they can. I think honestly the potential to do that is just, you know, waiting for them to be unlocked. Because right now, despite the fact that they could be a little bit more loose, if you will, a little bit more have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more leeway, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have all the freedom and leeway they want. They have a little bit, but not much. And it's all because the show is currently still going on with new episodes. But when October 12th comes and that all comes to an end, the question will be, will they be able to finally, with future issues of the comic planned to be released or worked on or pinned or whatever, will they actually do what the show couldn't do? And like I said, I truly believe they will. I mean, there's no doubt that they know there's a lot of fans that like Sparity, Spike, and Rarity. And just the fact that the comic, in the Nightmare Rarity arc of all things, had Spike not once but twice be the, you know, say the words that he did to help free Rarity from the Nightmare's hold on her, the Nightmare Magic's hold on her, that's saying something. I mean, they had Spike when he had attempted the first time and failed, try to say the 3 words, I love you. And then he says the one last thing that was, and then he says what he did, which was the last thing that helped, that was able to help Rarity get free by saying how much she means to him and that he wants her to come back to him. I mean, what else can you say to that, right? What else can you say to that? So, in my opinion, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, I think they will tackle romance. And Sparity could be one of those romances they tackle. And they could do it in a way that, believe it or not, comic books have been known to do this, that will make sense. They'll find a way to make sense out of it. They'll find a way to say, look, he might be small for a dragon, but he is full grown. He is a full-grown dragon. He's just small because, one, he's not as greedy, thus that slows down his natural growth process. You know, or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking they could go somewhere of that route. Now, even if they don't do but Spike and Rarity, who knows? They could give Spike an unexpected love interest. One thing comic books are known to do, whether another adaptation or something or they're not, is they're known to basically, ladies and gentlemen, surprise the viewers or the readers by going in directions romance-wise that no one would see coming. And one of the second most popular Spike ships, if you will, in the fandom, thanks to Disney Fanatic of all people, is Applejack and Spike. So do not be surprised if maybe they decide, you know what, we could do Rarity and Spike, yeah, but what if we did maybe just an issue or so to where when we're building towards it, or at least we kind of let it settle down for a little bit, we do a moment between Spike and Applejack, and maybe we kind of hint that there might be something there. They could do that. They can honestly do that. They could do the same with Starlight and Sunburst. They could do the same with, heck, if they want to go the LGBTQ route, they could go Trixie Starlight. You get the idea. The possibilities are endless. They could do a lot with Fluttershy and Discord. They could do some things with Rainbow Dash and Sorin. Heck, they can even explore Rainbow Dash and Applejack if they so choose to. The point is, the IDW comics have the potential to tackle the romance and the shipping of characters more so than the animated series has, because they will have more leeway and freedom to do so. I mean, I'll be honest, not everybody likes the idea of Sparity. That's fine, you know. And the show played it safe to kind of say, look, we're not going to straight out say Sparity is yay or nay. We're going to leave it up to your own interpretation. And that's where the comic could come in. That's where the comic book could come in and basically say, you know what, you didn't do it, we will. And the same with any other ship out there. Heck, they can even go the Twilight Flash route if they want to. They could. They could go that Twilight Flash route, you know, if they feel like it. They can go that route. They can find a way for the pony version of Flash Sentry to play a role in the comic and become potential love interest to Twilight. Thus, you kind of build in a way off of what happened in Equestria Girls. Again, the moments are there. The opportunity presents itself. And I think IDW Comics, once the show is over, I think one of the things, once the cuffs are fully off, or kind of completely, or nearly completely off, because they still might have restrictions, but there'll be less restrictions than before. So when they have a lot more freedom and leeway, I think the comics, the people behind the IDW Comics of Friendship is Magic, will basically do a lot more with this comic, with Friendship is Magic, especially when it comes to romance, than the show ever could. Because it's a more freeway, it's more freelance, and you can do a lot more with a comic book at times than you could with an animated series. But that's just my opinion. What's yours? What are your thoughts on potentially the comic book tackling romance, you know, more so than the show did? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to y'all later.